500 million years ago, anaerobic microbes ruled the earth. And everything was just fine for them until cyanobacteria showed up and started making lots and lots of oxygen, which was poisonous to the anaerobic microbes. The good news is that all of this oxygen allowed multicellular animals to evolve. Some of the anaerobic microbes were able to shelter from the oxygen inside the guts of these new creatures. They carried the microbes around and fed them regularly. In time, they became dependent upon these microbes to do for them tasks that they could not do for themselves. The anaerobic microbes were back in charge. A bit of time went by, and these simple creatures developed a spine and hands and the internet, and here we are today. We rely upon the microbes inside of us to perform tasks that are critical to our health, our well-being, and our very survival. These complex systems of microbes, which outnumber the cells in our body, interact with our nervous system, our digestive system, our immune system, and more. Without the support that we receive from these microbes, we would all soon be very unwell. This arrangement between body and biome worked very well for 500 million years. As long as we did our part, the microbes did theirs, and the complex systems interactions worked in our favor. But about 200 years ago, things began to change very quickly. The Industrial Revolution radically changed our food supply, our living environment, and the stresses that we feel can be quite different to those of our ancestors. The very nature of our gut environment changed. All of this is just fine for our gut microbes. They can easily evolve in response to changes in their environment. The problem is not with them, it's us. We do not evolve very easily. What's happened is our gut biome has moved on while we have stayed essentially the same. What's emerged is a disconnect between a gut biome evolved for modern life and one that is evolved to serve our best interests. This disconnect has created a range of variable and difficult to treat illnesses. Chronic skin, gut, mood, immune, and inflammatory disorders that were rare a couple of hundred years ago are common today. We are often left experimenting with drugs, diets, and the advice of various gurus as we seek relief. I became aware of all of this about 11 years ago when my wife, Heather, decided to take an organic horticulture course at Lincoln University. There, we met Don Pearson, our business partner-to-be, who was splitting his time between teaching and running his market garden. I ended up helping Don on his organic farm for about 6 months, during which we had a long conversation as we worked our way down row after row after row of organic broccoli, onions, pumpkins, and more. The immediate effect of all of this hard work is that I will now happily pay $100 for a broccoli. I don't grow veggies anymore. As Dawn and I toiled in the dry Canterbury Nor'wester, That long conversation turned to topics like soil biology and gut biology, including what he thought a truly effective probiotic product should look like. I thought this sounded like a business, and LiveBrew Ltd. was born. For the past decade, we've listened as people have told us about the problems that they are having with their farm animals, their horses, and their pets. Over the last year or so, since we've launched our human health product, we've listened as they've told us about the problems that they themselves are having. We noticed that these problems seem often to come in clusters. The arthritic dog has a history of eczema and diarrhea. The nervous horse has a history of colic and fungal infection. The depressed person has a history of irritable bowel and disrupted sleep. People are often quite frustrated by the time they get to me. They may have had lots of visits from their vet or lots of tests from their doctor and still not found a solution to their problem. Well, that's just great, I say. If you've already done the hard part, if you've already eliminated the stuff that can be wrong with your body, maybe the problem is not with you. Maybe it's them. Remember that I said, for the last 500 million years, the microbes inside of us have been in charge of their environment. They still are. They will do exactly and only what is in their best interests, even if that gives us a sore gut, itchy skin, or an anxiety disorder. Now, there's a lot of advice out there. If you want a healthy gut biome, just eat right, exercise, get plenty of rest, reduce stress. Easy, right? Well, here's where it gets tough. Remember also that I said, over the last 200 years, our gut environment has changed, and our gut microbes have evolved in response. For example, if we've been eating a junk food diet, if we've been eating a lot of sugar and processed carbs, our gut microbes will have adapted to that diet. They will be happily eating all of that junk food, even as we get obese, sick, and depressed. Our gut microbes will even fight against us if we try to change that diet. They will produce symptoms like headaches, bloating, cravings, all in an effort to force us back to our old habits. The willpower model of diet and lifestyle change ignores the fact that no matter how determined we are to make a change, our gut microbes have their own opinion and they will fight dirty. This is a big part of why so many diets, gym memberships, and New Year's resolutions fail. We may bring our best intentions to these efforts, but we often forget about the trillions of microbial bosses inside of us that need to come along if we are to be successful. Now, you can certainly grind it out. If you eat right, exercise, get plenty of rest, reduce stress, you will get healthier. But this can be very, very difficult to do if you're already suffering from symptoms like headaches, bloating, cravings, etc. What's needed is something to get the ball rolling, a shortcut, if you will, to get our gut microbes working for us rather than against us. My job is making one of these shortcuts. We make fresh, live, and active probiotics that I think are very good at helping people with these kinds of problems. But there is a wide range of microbial tools that you can use to improve your gut biology. Cider vinegar and kombucha contain organic acids that are good for your gut biome. Fresh, leafy, colorful vegetables are full of stuff that's good for your gut bugs. Traditional fermented foods can be very helpful. And of course, there's a range of commercial probiotics and prebiotics that you can buy. In my experience, fresh, raw, unprocessed stuff works best. Just as we see patterns associated with gut biome problems, so too do we see patterns associated with the solutions to these problems. A modest change in gut biology can improve sleep and make it easier to stay on that new exercise program. This in turn reduces bloating and makes it easier to stick to that new diet, and so on. I find that the easiest and fastest results can come when we take the focus off of ourselves for a while and instead focus on our gut biology. If we first take care of their needs and avoid the battle that they can wage against our best interests, the willpower stuff, the diet and exercise stuff gets much easier. And then we're on that virtuous cycle of change. Once we've negotiated a peace with our gut bugs and enjoyed some improved sleep and a bit of exercise, it gets much easier to keep it going. Just as we see that our health and our well-being can be dominated by the microbes inside of us, so too is life on Earth dominated by the microbes. The overwhelming majority of life on our planet is microbial, and none of us can survive without them. The soils that grow our food, especially the root zones, are massively microbial. We rely upon microbes to process much of our food. And even the treatment plants that process our wastes need microbes to get the job done. If we are to have a healthy, happy, and truly sustainable future, it will be in no small part because we have paid regard to the microbial bosses that rule life on planet Earth. And it can all begin with that unique and very important microbial universe that lives inside of you right now.